In today's video, I'm going to be insulating my attic and adding a bunch of airflow to my attic as well. The current R value of my attic is probably somewhere around 2. There's barely any insulation up there. There's 2 louvers on the roof, and then there's 1 soffit vent only. My attic is 400 square feet, so to get the R value up to the minimum R40, R60 range, I'm going to need 10 bags of blown-in insulation to cover the 400 square feet. And the main reason I'm doing this is because the AC can't keep up. I just put in a brand new AC. It's sized perfectly for the ductwork, it's perfectly charged, and the airflow is perfect. But it will not keep up on a 95-degree day. It'll hang around 78, 79 degrees all day. I got the 10 bags because that's what I calculated to reach the R value, and I get to rent the fiberglass insulation blower machine from Home Depot for free of charge if you get 10 bags. But before we can put the insulation in, we need to put in some soffit baffles, and we need to install some soffit vents on the eave. I'm going to be installing a total of 3 soffit vents and 4 baffles. So let's go ahead and get these in, and once these are installed, we can go ahead and pick up the machine. To cut a soffit vent hole, I start by measuring 48 inches from the corner of the house. My rafters are spaced 24 inches on center, so I want to land the hole between the 2 of them, not through one. Next, I drill into the eave with a paddle bit, big enough that I can get a finger in there and feel around for rafters, wiring, or anything else I don't want to cut into. Once I know it's clear, I grab my cardboard template. I cut mine about an inch smaller than the actual 8x16 soffit vent, so the flange has enough overlap to cover the cut edges once it's installed. Back to the paddle bit. I drill a 1-inch hole into each corner of the outline I traced from the template. Then I'm going to use my Ryobi jigsaw and cut the 4 sides of the opening, working hole to hole. Probably not the most efficient method, but hey, it was my first one. By the 4th vent, I had the whole process down to about 15 minutes each. Next, I slide in a soffit baffle. This keeps the vent from getting buried once we blow in the insulation. I secure the baffle to the roof board with a few 1/2-inch screws. I don't want them any longer than that. The screw could punch through the roof and come out through the shingles. I'll secure the other side of the baffle later, once I'm up in the attic. Before I install the vent itself, I cut 5 strips of R12 insulation and pack them around the baffle. That's extra insurance the blown-in insulation won't creep in and cover the vent. After that, I secure the intake vent, fins pointing toward the house. This will allow for optimal intake air circulation through the attic, out the roof louvres. Now it's just a matter of repeating the process 3 more times to get the rest of the soffit vents installed. All the soffit vents are installed now, and I rented the machine. I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was up there, but it's 140 degrees. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this today. I'm setting my watch for 8 minutes just to get out once it hits 8 minutes, because you can only, don't. By the way, this is stupid. I'm just trying to get this done today, but I'm trying to be safe at the same time. So 8 minutes max up in the attic. There's no standing. It's all crawling or like moving like a worm. Very, very hard space to work in. Currently 140 degrees up in the attic. I got a timer for 8 minutes to get out. I got to secure these baffles. Let's go. Gonna go for that far baffle. Okay. Holy fuck, it's hot up here. How much time do I got left? 4 minutes. Ow. That fucking hurt. Alright, I'm getting out.
Will you be able to turn it like on and off?
No, you're gonna have to do that. So hit start.
Okay.
You come here, cut line is right here.
I feel like I caught it first and then
Actually, I just use my knee. But you can use the saw too. Do not put the bag in. Just feed it in like this. Open. Just like that. And then just feed it in there. In the attic. So just keep doing that. Set a timer for 8 minutes. Yep, and you're gonna have to push down on this. Go! right, we're 8 bags in out of 10, and we're right around the entrance. It's just gonna make a really big mess in the room, and a lot of it's gonna spill over, so we're gonna fill some trash bags up, and then I'm just gonna dump them that way, make it a little less messy. There we go. Now I can just dump this into the spots right around the attic hatch. All right, I've got this up to the attic access. I'll have to come back and knock some of that down, level it out a little bit or not. I can see that baffle still nice and clear, so I think we're good. So we used 8 of the 10 bags. There's 2 bags left there. Now for this attic access hatch, I'm going to cut these insulation boards and glue these to the back of the access panel. And I'm just using insulation glue, insulation caulking. Most heat escapes right at the attic hatch. Hopefully this calms it down a little bit. And I could return these 2 bags, but then I don't get the free machine rental. So I'm just gonna throw them up in the attic, and yeah, it's gonna be more insulation up there, I guess. So I started this at 2 when it was 92 out. Now it's 100 out, and I'm just getting out of here now. We've dropped 11 degrees in the attic, and it's like 8 degrees hotter out right now. Here. All right. Got the machine loaded up. It is a big machine. It is heavy. The hoses they gave us, I guess you can get 2, but I only got 1. That's why we brought it inside. Makes less of a mess if you can have it outside. Took 3 hours with the help of Emily, my girlfriend. She usually doesn't do this type of stuff, so shout out to her. She did great. I'm very happy with the 10-degree drop. I'm sure by tomorrow, once most of that hot air gets out, it'll probably drop even lower. It's 102 degrees today, and the AC's at 75. On prior 100-degree days, it wouldn't drop below 78 once it got to 4 or 5 p.m., which it is 5 p.m. right now. Anyways, I got to get back to Home Depot to return this. I'm already late. Not sure. The R value, probably somewhere around 40 or 50, but it's definitely better than what I had before. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Dave, and this fix is done.